This takes us to the final reading and public hearing of ordinance number 2007-36. This is a quasi-judicial procedure. Would the clerk read the ordinance by title only?
Mr. Mayor,
Judge Moore?
I'd like to make a motion that we postpone the final reading and the public hearing on this ordinance number 2007-36, Ponti at the waterfront, until such time as we have had an opportunity to schedule one or more workshops in order to address the multitude of issues that are of concern to the council and the public as well, and then put the matter back on the agenda for final decision at that time.
Mr. Mayor, since I seconded the motion the last time, I have a motion I'd like to make later after we've had public hearing.
Yeah, and the procedure, we should go through the public hearing first, right, before we make a motion?
It's the only thing left on the agenda.
If you can postpone the public hearing, because we've said you can postpone it and delay it to future time. It's still giving them the opportunity to do their public input. It's just not today, if that's council's choice.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
Well, Judge, isn't that in essence...
Wait a minute, there's a second. Is there a second?
Yes. There's not three of them.
Three of them? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, correct? Right. Okay.
Hey, Judge, isn't that in a...
I think you're out of order, Mr. Simmons.
Judge Moore has the floor.
I think I made the motion. The reason this is the most important decision we may ever make as members of this council is very simply because the decision we make may irrevocably alter the landscape of the city of Venice, not only for generations but forever. We have a big responsibility here, and in order to meet that responsibility, we have to take more time to deliberate on this petition to get it right. You have to remember that the CMU is a totally unique ordinance. It's entirely different from every other ordinance in our land development code. It literally requires that we as a council, individually and collectively, design the project along with the developer. We actually sign off on every single survey, elevation, plat, and every single word and detail in that master development code. We almost do this in partnership with the developer. The only way you can do that is in a workshop environment. You can't do it up here on the dais, where we're constrained by time limitations as well as the Robert's Rules of Order, if nothing else. This is the first time we have encountered a CMU. It literally begs a workshop. That's what a workshop is for, to iron out all of the issues that are remaining on this petition so that we can then come back on the dais and vote on them. Let me just talk about a couple of the issues. And there are many more issues, but just as an example, the height and density of this project, which I think you know I find to be too high, is so big in my mind that it literally has the potential for destroying everything we're trying to preserve and protect in downtown Venice. And that doesn't, and I don't just include downtown Venice as the block, the 100 and the 200 block of West Venice Avenue. I'm talking about the downtown, the island, all the way down Venice Avenue to the bypass. What are we going to do in the future? How is the Seaboard District going to be developed? How about the redevelopment south of the bridge? This is a tremendous issue. Density. We're facing a density on this project of 126 condos in 5 buildings, going up to 80 feet. That density on the 2.5 acre parcel is more than 50 dwelling units per acre. The highest density we have in the city in our entire code is 18 dwelling units per acre. What are we getting for that incredible increase in density of condos? We're getting a condo hotel, maybe, or mixed use. Frankly, I think you could argue that you could get all of these things just utilizing the existing zoning code. But I don't want to go there because you know how I feel about the CMU. I didn't vote for it, but I think it's a bad ordinance, and I think we have taken on exactly what we got. Now we've got to live with the responsibility that's been given to us. The parking problem, that has not been adequately addressed in my mind. It was brought up by Mr. Vetter. It's been brought up by some other people in emails that I've received. That's an issue that I think requires more research and more study, a workshop. And probably the thorniest issue of all is how do we regulate this condominium hotel so that we can ensure, both now and in the future, that it does in fact operate as a hotel and it's not a subterfuge for a condominium, a 50 condominium per acre development condominium. How do we do that? Do we just pass it like it is and let the prohibition be that the owner can't use it for 6 months? Well, what about his tenant? Can he rent it for 6 months? Okay, if he has a tenant, can he rent it for a year to somebody? Or should we be scaling that back to 3 months or some other figure? I don't think we really know. Should we license this hotel under state law? How are we going to enforce all of these regulations? Are we going to have a central desk with some sort of a registry so that our code enforcement board can go over there and check and make sure that they're not renting them or using them for more than 6 months? I have no idea. Are the units going to be individually metered for electricity and water, or is it going to be metered like a hotel or like a condo? There are so many issues. For example, how do we, once the developer has built it and sold the units and he leaves, how are we going to prevent it from reverting back to a condominium from a hotel? Well, the hotel didn't work, so we're going to vote to revert it back. We haven't even taken a look at the condominium documents, the Articles of Association, the bylaws. Haven't seen one yet. We don't know what restrictions there are against this condominium. They could do anything. There's another provision in this CMU ordinance that requires that there be a minimum of 3 uses or more, and you have to designate the actual percentage of the use in the development as overall. What happens if the restaurant fails or the retail goes out of business? Or somebody wants to change the configuration of uses or the percentage that it occupies within the entire development. Who's going to make that decision? Is it going to come back to council? Is it going to just be done unilaterally by the building office over here or what? We haven't done anything. There are so many issues unanswered. What about setbacks, landscaping? What is the signage? We haven't even talked about the signage. All I'm saying is that we haven't done our job. We need to call some workshops. One of them needs to be at night so people in the community can participate. I want the developer to participate. I want all of this done under oath because it's a quasi-judicial proceeding. And then maybe we can hammer out something that's good for the community. What we have right now is not good for the community, in my opinion. But we have a responsibility under this ordinance, like it or not, to do the work necessary to see that we get the job done. And so I feel strongly that we need to postpone this and hold the workshops and then put it back on the agenda and make the decision then on how to develop this piece of property. Thank you.